ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ ਜੀ ਸੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਜਾਣਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜੀ ਆਇਆਂ ਨੂੰ welcome everybody what a lovely day, hey? And I was thinking this is not sort of day where you sit down and listen to a boring lecture. This is a day where you just relax and kind of just chill. So then I thought, actually that is a great idea. Hence I've decided to cancel the lecture. So we're just going to chill now. So if that's alright. Yeah.
Where can I vote you for Prime Minister?
Haji?
Where can I vote you for Prime Minister?
Oh, very good question. I don't know actually. First what you need to do is kind of gather some funds, so because when we run our campaign we're going to need cash, money, so that's first thing we need to do is gather some funds for Sukhi Baba to become Prime Minister, so we could have a better world.
Is that Prime Minister of Canada or the UK?
The thing is, you have too much land to manage. It's just too much, so I don't know. UK needs me, I think, at the moment. Yeah, they're in a right mess. Yeah. Thank you for that question, sir. Where was I? Right. No. Shows how much everybody was listening. Is there any point of me carrying on? Okay. Right, so okay, we'll start then. We'll start with some Mool Mantra Jap and then we'll start officially. Okay ji, ek oankar satnam karta purkh nirbhau nirvair akal moorat ajuni saibhang gur prasad jap सच जुगाद सच है पी नानक होसी पी सच एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है पी सच नानक होसी पी एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निरभव निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी सैभं गुर प्रसाद जप आदि सच जुगाद सच है पी सच नानक होसी पी वाहिगुरु 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 जी का खालसा वाहिगुरु जी की फतेह. So today's topic is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj in Sachkhand. So we're going to talk a little bit about Sachkhand. What is Sachkhand? People have different sort of ideas of what Sachkhand is, the different perceptions. Going around different places, I talk to many different people, and they have many different views. Most of them are like quite sort of confusing, and some of them are just like quite lost. And then there are some people who have the right idea, so they're in the right path. So I think I've got quite a few presentations that start with this slide, and I'm hoping that I've not picked up the wrong one. So I don't know what's going to happen next, so let's just try it. Oh, that's it, yeah. So Sachkhand, hands up if you've ever been. Okay, you just come out. Welcome out. What's the weather like there?
Slightly cloudy.
Slightly cloudy. Okay, I thought it was never cloudy in Sachkhand. Global warming is affecting everywhere, even Sachkhand. Okay. Anybody ever been to Sachkhand here? No? Okay. Well, I've seen some people kind of, you know, you usually spot them during Amrit Vela, like, right? They look like they're in Sachkhand. You look at them and they're like, I'm like, hey, pਹੁੰਚ ਗਏ Sachkhand. You know what I mean? And some people are so deep, they Sachkhand ਅੱਗੇ ਲੰਘ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. And Maharaj is going, ਨਹੀਂ ਆ ਜਾਓ ਵਾਪਸ, there's nothing else out there. Just come back. They go so deep into their samadhi that they, so they go even further than Sachkhand. So yeah, so I've seen some people that, you know, gone to Sachkhand, and the best thing to do is not disturb them, right? Because when you disturb them, you know, they're not very happy, right? They're not very happy. So just let them be, you know, be in Sachkhand. That in one sense, you know, some people's idea of Sachkhand, you know, you got a nice comfy bed, right? Pakha chalda howe, like, you know, and there's no noise, and you just, you know, you're just laying there. That's like, oh, I'm in Sachkhand, you know, this is brilliant, you know. And then, you know, about a minute or two later, it's your wife, you know, screaming, good thing, you know, and then you're like, oh, back to Martalok again. Right. Let's go back to the world, the reality. But yeah, so I've actually never been to Sachkhand. So I mean, you know, kind of, you may think, oh, well, you know, Chardi Kala Gursik like him, you know, he must have seen it. But that is true, I'm Chardi Kala, but it's just I've never been. Right. That was a joke, by the way, so in case you're thinking, oh, he's big-headed. Yeah, so one person, okay, that's right. All right, I don't know why that image is there. So we'll just go with the questions. What is Sachkhand, and who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? Yeah, so can I just have a little test it, because we'll see if you can give me like some sort of a idea what you think is Sachkhand. Anybody like to start us off with their kind of idea what Sachkhand is? No? What about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? Hanji? He was the first Guru? Okay, that's good. Anybody else? Hanji? Guru Nanak Dev Ji travel around the world with Bhai Mardana Ji. Okay, good, good. Anybody else? Hanji?
For Sachkhand, I think when I think of Sachkhand, I think of kind of the Buddhist idea of nirvana, which is kind of similar to, I guess, 50 principles as well.
Okay.
Again, like, once you get rid of your desires, you go into kind of a blissful state, I guess, like of contentment or whatever.
Yeah.
And you could get, you definitely were doing similar here. You could still achieve a similar state. So, like, other people might think of like a place. It's all white, or like heaven, like people think of heaven, like that, but I don't think it's like that. Okay. So you think it's more of like, it's like a state of mind, okay, than an actual place. Hanji.
Other than the sex to other people, like the Hindus, Guru Nanak Dev Ji was the prophet of Kaljuk.
Okay, prophet of Kaljuk, yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Welcome people who just joined us. In case you're wondering why there's like this leopard or whatever that is. Anybody know what animal that is?
Jaguar.
Jaguar, is it? Okay. I have to know. Yeah. Just that. The image didn't update, so yeah. So that is not Sachkhand, like, you know, there's when you go there, there's no like wildlife. You're like, am I in Sachkhand? Yeah, so, yeah. So we're just talking about a question, what is Sachkhand to you, or who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? So we've had a couple of answers so far. Anybody else like to, take a shot? No? Okay, so we'll move on from there. Right. So hopefully by now you've understood what Sachkhand is. Oh, okay. Talking about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, some people they like, we've had one of the answers is prophet of Kal Yug. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is an avatar, okay. But in reality, who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? And Gurbani tells us that Jot Roop Har Aap Guru Nanak Kahayo. Ke Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is Parmeshwar himself. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is God Vaheguru on earth himself. And then there are other pramans in Gurbani that you can find where Guru Sahib Ji has been mentioned as Akal Purkh Vaheguru, as Vaheguru themselves. So Aap Narayan Kalatar Jag Meh Parvaryo, that's another one. So that's the Svaiye jehde pattan de Svaiye likhe a. So these Patts were these people on a spiritual path and a spiritual journey to liberation. And when they met Guru Sahib Ji and when they saw Guru Sahib Ji in their actual swaroop, then they found that Guru Sahib Ji are Vaheguru on earth, that there is no difference. So the way they saw Guru Sahib Ji is that they're a Rabb da roop ne. So Guru Sahib Ji weren't like a human being like you and me. Some people seem to think that they were just like you and me, and then other people seem to think that they were incarnation of this God, they were incarnation of that God. But no, that it was the whole Srishti, as we found out from the talks from yesterday, by Manveer Singh's talk, and Manveer Singh's been doing the talks as well, that this world was crying out, and there's people that have come before Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they were able to carry on the task up to a point, but not all the way. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, Vaheguru, then had to come down as Guru Nanak himself to finish the job, to complete the job, right? So Akal Purkh Vaheguru had to descend on this earth himself. Now there is an evidence of that we find in Bachitra Natak Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj's Bani, that if you want to go, you can actually, because this wasn't the complete topic for today, that's why I've not included that. It's a whole chapter that you can actually view, that tells you what God created first on this earth and who came first, what prophets came, and then in the end that tin bediyan ki kul bikhe pragte nanak rai sab sikhan ko sukh de jata pai sahai. So then Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj talks about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj as Paramatma, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji had to come himself because there was something missing. So all those prophets and everybody who came before, they did a job. Yes, they kind of led people, part of the way, but to kind of then get people to cross the line. Okay, then Akal Purkh Vaheguru had to come himself. Okay, so there is that sort of distinction, there is that difference. There has to be that, because obviously with us, sometimes people ask me, you may have been asked the question as well, what do you think about people from other faiths, and how do they get liberation, and all of that kind of, what is your take on it? And if you want to know Sikhi's take on those, then if you want to take it from Gurbani, then go to Sri Dasam Granth Sahib, and you'd find exactly Maharaj mentions the names of all the prophets that have come down and what they've achieved and what they failed to achieve. So for us, that we don't see it as like a so if we see ourselves as part of everything and all those people as well, but what's happened is you and me have been lucky now that this life that we've got now, we've gone on to that next step, right? So you don't know, I don't know who I was in my previous life, right? What faith did I belong to in my previous life? Okay, now it could well be that we were Gursikh in our previous life, but then what about the life before that? Well, what about the life? Because this cycle carries on until we reach that point, until we cross that line, until we get to Sachkhand. Unfortunately, we were going to have to keep coming back and keep doing this again and again until we move that much forward each time, and you hope that in this janam you do enough to cross that line, right? So I don't see myself sort of kind of outside of those other religions and everybody else and their beliefs. I very much just consider myself as a part of all of that, and a journey that we've all been on together, all the people. And it's just that everyone's at a different stage, and you and me have been lucky enough that in this life that we've got now, we have Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, and we have that Sikhi in our life this time around. We've gone to that next step, right? So straight away, what we don't do is sort of we shun and we condemn, and we just condemn everybody else to hell. That's not how it works. Right? So, but at the same time, it is important to understand why Guru Nanak Dev Ji actually came onto this earth as well. Why? Right? There has to be a reason why Nirankar, because we know it's a Nirankar, it's a Vaheguru himself, because Gurbani tells us it's Vaheguru himself that came on this earth. So then we have to think about that why that God himself came down. Why was there a need? Why is there a need for another path, right? These are sort of questions that I ask myself, and these are sort of questions that people ask as well. They're like, if all paths lead to God, then why start another one? That is a genuine question. Why start another one? What's wrong with the rest of them? Hannah? So some of these questions you have to consider, right? So I'm not going too much into it, but I wanted to lay that foundation first before we talk about Sachkhand and we talk about the whole Khed, because to understand the whole play, it doesn't come without any sort of spiritual achievement through Sangat, the true answers where things make sense, because your buddhi, your intellect has to rise to that level so that you start understanding things and start breaking things down to understand what a real concept of Sachkhand is, how Sachkhand works, and who Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is. Now those questions, right? So some of these concepts we're going to try and understand the best we can. That's where I'm going to need everyone's help in achieving that. So I just wanted to put that out there first, that there is no kind of a doubt, at least in my mind, that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is Vaheguru on this earth. Guru Nanak Dev Ji Aap Parmeshwar, Guru Parmeshwar on this earth. So just wanted to put that out. Okay, ji. Now, we talking from Sangat, we talked about, is it an actual real place or not? Before sort of got into this slide, I'm glad that there's not another leopard or whatever it was, that this image at least updated. is he a physical thing, a physical place or not, right? And really, to be able to answer that question, we really need to start thinking about what happens to us when we die. What happens to our soul? If we only experience these realms in our consciousness, then once we are dead, what happens then? How does the soul come into it? What experiences, who has that experience? So that avastha, who actually is experiencing that? Is it your mind that experiences it? Is it your soul that experiences it? What does? Anybody like to kind of take a guess or talk about? So, do you understand the question what I'm trying to ask? First of all, Hanji Vidji.
You're asking that what happens to the soul?
Yeah. So, the answer I want to get to is Sachkhand an actual place, or is it just kind of like Hanji? A state of, consciousness, or what is it? Atma, yeah, Hanji.
Actually, some of the things we were just talking something similar before coming. I think the conclusion that I came to is the Sachkhand is you're merging back with the Kalpur. So we're reading the line in Chopi Sahib, Jab kar kara kartara, parjata tajaya para, jab kar kar tu kabun tum main mil de dar sabu. And what I took from that was that all things eventually will merge back to your Kalpur.
Yeah.
And so that this whole journey through life now is to prepare for that time of death. It was afterwards, Dharmaraj ripped your papers.
Yeah.
No need for me to review your life's actions.
Yeah.
You are meant to be one with the Kalpur.
Can I just add to that?
Hanji.
Like, that's if your journey is complete while you're still alive, right?
Yeah.
If there's something that's still incomplete, based on the nature of Vitori Birti
Yeah. Okay, so it's like whatever desire or so you end your this life with, then your next life will be will be a result of that. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, so whatever desire that we end in this life, it's like Vaheguruji is amazing. He's whatever desire that you have, Maharaj will be like, okay, right, your time is up this time, but if you still have that desire left, then you come back in your next life and do it, right? Now, Minu Saki yaad aa gayi, so from what Veerji just said, I've just remembered a Saki where, correct me if, I think it was Bhagat Kabir Ji's guru. He said that when I pass away, okay, and the way you're gonna know that I have made it to Bekunt, right, or made it to Sachkhand or wherever he believed that Sachkhand was, he goes that you'll hear a tal, you hear the bells, right? So he passes away, and then all the the Bhagats, the Chele, the disciples come, and they start listening to see. They put their ear out and they're trying to listen to these bells, because their guru's pura, like they're saying, he was our guru, and it is important for us to hear those bells, that that he's made it, otherwise we're screwed basically, right? All that time that we've spent, it's all in vain, So, and there's no bells. So you can be like, you can imagine their horror. They're like, oh, sari jindagi yahi laati, tal te khadke nahi. So then they go to Bhagat Kabir Ji ko chalde hain. Let's ask Kabir Ji what's going on, right? And then Kabir Ji ko jande a. Kabir Ji says, bhai, oh samne na drakht, there was a tree there, and I believe there's a mango or something on it. Ode amb siga laga. Kabir Ji kende oda amb tod ke la, go and pluck this that mango from that tree and bring it. So they go and then they bring that mango, and they basically, slice it, open it, and what they find that inside there's a tiny little insect inside of it, right? And then what Bhagat Kabirji does is then takes that insect and he kills that insect. And as soon as that insect dies, they hear the bells. And then they're asking, explain, what's going on, that, why did this insect have to die for the, for the bells to ring? What's going on? And Kabirji explains, he goes, on his, the Guru's last, sort of breaths, as he was laying down, he was looking at the mango tree, and he was thinking that, if only I had a bit more time, right, at least I would have been able to taste those mangoes, see how they taste like, right? That they're ripened up, at least, if I had a bit more time, I would be able to taste. And Kabirji said that he died with that desire, that ichha in his mind. And फिर होया कि परमात्मा gave him a birth, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਅੰਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ. It said, ਹੁਣ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਮਜ਼ਾ ਲਈ ਜਾ, right? He's got the whole, the ratio of him as a human being to a mango now, as a small insect to a mango, like he's just like in mango land, right? He's just loving it, right? So the point is, that is true, that whatever desire that, sort of doesn't matter, he had a lot of bhakti, but at that moment, if you have a desire left, then that's going to, buy you another life. You're going to be having to come back again, right? So, now, we learn a couple of things from there, that when their Guru passed away, where did he go? Okay, we know first he went into the insect. So, but what happened before he got to the insect? So did he go to an actual place, or how does it work? Because these are questions we kind of should have the answers for. Because otherwise, like I was saying before, things get a bit confusing. It's like if it's just a state of consciousness, that is not actually an actual place that exists. But then what happens in the interim? When we die, then who enters this, this consciousness? Who's entered it? Is your soul entered it? Is your mind entered it? What's going on? Or they both together entered it? And is that it? And then you're stuck there, and then that's your state of consciousness. And how are you gonna have darshan of the Gurus? What's gonna happen? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Or am I just confusing the hell out of everyone? Yeah, confuse the hell out of everyone? Oh, yeah. Well, I've confused the hell out of myself. So I'm here to get some answers myself. But, okay, so, but by all means, at whatever point, just you can, share your thoughts, as you kind of, because, things start working, and then, you might come to a conclusion that actually, that's what, that makes sense. Maybe that's what it is. So, but I'll tell you my personal belief is that it is a sort of experience of your, in your consciousness, as well as an actual place as well. So it's both. So it's not just one thing, it is an experience as well. You can have that experience, you can live in Sachkhand whilst living on this earth. However, there is an actual place where you go as Sachkhand. So it is both. And I'm always interested in finding out about people's stories, that what happened, some people when they sometimes they die and then they come back to life. Yeah, and I'm always interested in hearing their stories. So I don't know if I've shared this one with you guys before, but it was my mum's Masi that passed away. I don't know if I've shared it at Singhs camp here. No? Okay. So, okay, I've not shared it, so I will. So, obviously, I know you know, I must have died before, right? But just I don't remember it, so you know, I can't remember what happened, right? But so you're always trying to look at other people, and sometimes, you know, we find hard to believe certain things. But the thing is, if it's somebody close to you and someone, especially in your family, then you kind of tend to believe that a bit more, right? So anyway, my mum's masseuse, this is going back, you know, quite a few years. She, you know, dies, okay, and then they, you know, discover that, you know, she's dead, and then they, like, in the old days, they would do the, you know, the funeral, the sanskar the same day. They put on the manja, and then, you know, people, as people find out, they're all coming, and then they're all, like, you know, crying, and some people pretend crying, you know. It's just like, because you're going to a funeral sometimes. I've seen that some buddiya, like, you know, put on, like, you know, fake tears, and then they gathered around, and there's just a few hours of, you know, gone past, and then she wakes up, right? So then she wakes up. She wakes up and sits on the bed, and everyone's like, you know, what's happened here? Budi Baps Hagi, like, you know. And those people who were fake crying before actually started crying because, you know. I think Budi Shotagi Chaligi, but she's come back, alright. So Sachi ron la pe gayi, and so, but she said, she goes, ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਮਰ ਗਈ, she goes, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਜਮਦੂਤ ਲੈਣ ਆਏ, like the closer thing we've got is, in English, is the angels of death. I don't know, but the jamdoot, is there another explanation for jamdoots? Andy? But yeah, we'll just go with that, right? So they come, and they take me, and she goes, as they're taking me, she goes, I remember that I remember when I was, you know, younger, I remember hitting this dog, and with a stick, and I was really, like, cruel to it, and I, you know, really kind of, you know, hit that dog, and it was in pain. And she goes, but when they were taking me, she goes, I saw that dog, and then the dog was actually hitting me, she goes, and I was feeling that pain that, you know, I gave out. I was actually feeling that pain myself, and they're dragging me, they're taking me, and she goes, they took me, and they took me to this place, and they stood me there, and then I heard a voice saying that you have bought the wrong woman. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਲੈਣ ਦੀ, take her back. ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਨਾਲ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਜਨਾਨੀ ਆ, ਉਹਨੇ ਮਰਨਾ ਆ, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਓ. So she was like, oh, thank God for that. I made a mistake. Yeah. So she came back, and she goes, then obviously, and then to verify her story, then my Nana ji, together with my mum's Taya ji, they went to the next pind to then find out if the story checks out. And they go, and the story checked out. And about the same time she passed away, that the woman in the next pen, she died. So it's like, it's, you know, there is a place that you actually go to. So if there's a place for, you know, peoples with different levels of their spiritual consciousness, then there is also a place for somebody whose consciousness, you know, it becomes Vaheguru itself. So there's an actual physical place. There's about 2-3 more, right? But this one I'm going to tell you, it's Bhai Sadhu Singh ji. This is in Fresno. Just now, 2 weeks ago, I was in Fresno, and he told me this. He's a Buzurg. He's probably in his about 80s, you know, perhaps. And you know, he's such an amazing guy. You know, such a Gurmukh. Bhai Sadhu Singh, and he told me this. He goes that I wanted to, I had this, thought, I wanted to see the jamdoots, what they actually look like, right? I wanted to know what these jamdoots look like. So he goes, one night, and I am just laying down, and my wife's laying down across, and he goes, these two jamdoots, I hear them talking, and they're like, "Innu kiddaan kaddiye, kadd nahi hunda." It's like, how can we, take him? We can't actually grab him, right? And he goes, when I, looked and I saw these jamdoots, and there's one thing that he said that's, kind of is in line with, some of the other ones where they've seen jamdoots. Is he goes, those jamdoots, they have ears like horses. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਨ ਘੋੜਿਆਂ ਵਰਗੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ. He goes, they're like talking, saying, how can we, take him out? We can't actually grab him. So ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਸੁਣ ਲਈ ਤੇ, and I said to my wife, right, he's such a lovely guy. He goes, I said to my wife, oh, ਜੇ ਦੇਖਣੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਾ. He said, if you want to see the jamdoots, ਦੇਖਣੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਦੇਖ ਲਾ, ਫੇਰ ਨਾ ਕਹੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਏ ਨਹੀਂ. Don't complain afterwards that, that you didn't show me the jamdoots, that you've seen them, but you never woke me up. I wanted to see them. So, and then my wife goes, what are you on about? He goes, jamdoot dekhne hai, dekh la. And he goes, my wife said that, oh, you must be lying funny, apni chhati te hath aa gaya tere, or something, that there's nothing, just so jao, like, he goes, dekh la, फिर चले गए, फिर ना कहीं. And obviously he had that furna, he wanted to see them jamdoots, and Mara showed him the jamdoots, and he goes, those jamdoots, like, how we are made up of panj tat, he goes, panj tattan de nahi bane hunde, tin tat, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੋ ਤੱਤ ਘਟਦੇ ਆ. They are missing. We are made up of 5 elements, they are made up of 3. And he goes that they weigh so much, right? And he said that obviously they couldn't they couldn't basically get me out, right? Because it was not really my time to go. And exactly the same, like how another woman in the next bin with the same name passed away, he then had a thought in his head, maybe it's not me, it's this guy that he knows, right, that he's passed away, and he knew that guy's same name, right? And he goes, the next day, he finds out that he passed away. And he goes, I remember it was about 11:30, which is about 11:30 at night. And he goes, when I asked them about what time did he die, they said it was around about 11:30. His name is Bhai Singh, and he lives in Fresno in Selma. And he will tell you that story himself, right? So like, these things, they're actually not real things. It's not like something that you can experience or anything like that, but they're not physical. But these things are actually physical. And there's and the one about the Sachkhand one, okay? Now, I don't know if this was shared on the group. I don't know if you guys have watched that, the Shakti of Mool Mantra. I don't know if anybody watched that, the power of Mool Mantra.
What the baby was it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, so one person, they've seen it. And most of the stuff on that group is just people just ignore it in their life. They really don't come going. The message they're always sending these messages. Nobody reads them, right? Just because it looks important to you, it's not important to me. I couldn't care less. But anyway, but for those of you who have not seen it, so this, I'll try and keep it short. This woman, she's not a Sikh, she's from a Hindu family, and it is in this Ragi Singh's book. I think his name's Ragi Gurnam Singh. He's written about this account that they went to do Kirtan somewhere, and in that area there was only few Sikhs around there. There was most predominantly was Hindu area. But there was one Bibi, I think her name was Tanamai or something like that. I can't remember the exact name, right? And she, you can actually, Google it yourself on YouTube. It's on there. That she loved Kirtan, and she came to listen to the Kirtan. And after the Ragijata said, after they'd done Kirtan, she invited them back to their house. They said, please come to the house. Utte vi sanu Kirtan sunao, because she loved Kirtan. And she said, I went to their house. They said we went to her house. We went in, and her whole house had statues and little mandir that they had in the house. And being Sikhs, we felt a little bit kind of uneasy, because we don't believe in idols and things like that. And then she said that, what would you like to eat? And he goes that, we felt a little bit, should we really eat? We don't know, how they prepare their food here and all that. But because she had so much love, she said that she had so much love that we had something. And after that, we did Kirtan there. And before we left, she said that please, give me a mantra to recite. And you are you are my gurus. You give me a mantra to recite. And they said that we explained that we are not gurus, right? We can't give you a mantra. But she was, insisting that, give me something. And we said, chalo koi nahi. And we knew Mool Mantra. We said, do Mool Mantra da jap. And they gave her a mala, right? Rosary. And they said, do 10 of these a day with the Mool Mantra. And she goes, I used to do the mantra of Vishnuji, right? The Hindu god Vishnuji. She goes, then I started doing Mool Mantra as well. I started doing both. But she goes, so she started doing both, right? But so they left, and then a few maybe next year or something, they went back, and they went to the same Gurdwara and asked for that woman again. That sort of, how is she? And they said, well, you have to go and ask how she is, because it's very interesting what's happened to her. So they go to her house and they knock on the door, and what they see when the woman's coming down, okay, so I'm missing a little bit of details on here because I'm just trying to get through the story. When she's coming down, she has got a gatra around her, her neck. So she's wearing a gatra, and she has taken Amrit now. Right? And then she started explaining what happened to her after they left. They said, after you left, I started doing the mala. And she goes, I used to do both of the mantras. But eventually, slowly, she said that I got, so much ras from doing Mool Mantra that slowly the other mantra I just stopped doing. And I started with 10 malas, then I started doing 20, then 30, then 100. Then she goes, then I put the mala down, and I just continuously just read Mool Mantra. And she goes, I got to a point where she goes, every time the leaves would move, I would hear the Mool Mantra. She goes, any time a bird would chirp, I would hear the Mool Mantra. I would hear Mool Mantra coming from everywhere, all around me. And she goes, I was in so much ecstasy, so much anand. And then she goes, I passed away. Then meri maut ho gayi. Then I died. And she goes, when I died, then they took me to the Bishnupuri. So there are different realms, depending on what your kamai is, how far you are in your kamai. You go to different places after you die. So she goes, they took me there, and she goes, sure enough, it was a nice place, but she goes, I didn't like it. She goes, something missing. She goes, mera ithe jee nahi karda, mera ithe jee nahi lagda. And then I said to them, take me out of it, I don't want to stay here. They're like, Bibi, where else, can we take you? She goes, take me where there's Kirtan. Jithe Kirtan hunda. And they said, there's only one place jithe Kirtan hunda, that is Sachkhand. Magar, we can't, you can't go there, and we are not allowed to go in there either. Right? But she goes, I don't know, you have to take me there. So they took me, and she goes, I was outside of Sachkhand, and they left me there. They said, look, this is as far as we can take you. We can't go any further than that. And she goes, I just went in, main andar chali gayi, and there was kirtan going on inside. She goes, oh, that was beautiful. She goes, it was just like, that's it. You know, this is where I belong. This is where I want to be. And that, you know, Ananda that we talk about, she goes, that was it. She goes, I was there. And then she goes, after the kirtan stopped, then these like Singhs came. She goes, I saw these Singhs. They're like in, you know, Maharaj's bana, and they look like paredars, like, right? And they said to me that you can't be here, right? You can't be here. Tu andar kidna aa gayi? And then she goes, I hear a voice, and the voice says that you will come here, you will come to this place, but not now, because tu amrit nahi shakya, you have not taken amrit yet. You have the kamai, right? You've done jehda mool mantra da abhyas kita a, magar tu amrit nahi shakya. एक साल बाद एक साल तेनू असीं दिन्ने आ, ते you have another year, जाके अमृत छक and carry on with your kamai, and then we're going to then call you back. And she goes, then I woke up, and then I went to the Gurdwara Sahib, and I said to them, first thing I said, menu amrit chakao. And all the Gurdwara wale were like, oh, we can't do that, you're a Hindu. And all these people, you know, they're gonna, you know, start saying that we've started converting people here, that we don't want to give you amrit. And she said that if you don't give me amrit, I'm gonna stay here on the doorstep of Guru Kar. I'm not gonna eat anything, I'm not gonna drink anything, and I'm gonna die right here until you give me amrit. And then, you know, they did vichar and they said, well, you know, we can't have that. Budi mangdi and de deo. So they arranged an amrit char, and amrit chakya fir bibi ne. And you know, she started weighing the cars, and she goes, this is where I'm at now. And she's told them, look, I've got this much time left, and I'm going to die on this day, and then you are to then come when I die, you are to come and do kirtan. And she goes, so we went away, and then sure enough, after a while, we had a letter or a message to say that that woman has passed away now, that, you know, she requested you to do kirtan. So, like, you know, because we went and then we did kirtan on her on her funeral. So it's like an actual, you know, she actually went in an actual place. So jidna ek jagah hundi utthe gayi vi, and then she came back. So it's like there is, as I said before, that it is both. It's an actual realm, it's an actual place, as well as it's a state of your consciousness as well. Bani mentions both of them. Okay, so we wanted to talk about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and Sachkhand and the whole, you know, Saki behind that. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj spent between 10 and 14 years, because I put that on there because there's different sources that mention different times. But Guru Sahib Ji was in Sultanpur between 10 and 14 years. And then when he was, you know, 28 years of age, Guru Sahib Ji goes to do Ishnan, like he would do a part of his Nitnem every single day, where Maharaj would go and do Ishnan in the Vain Nadi. And as he goes there, first thing he does is he does Datan. Like, you know what Datan is? Like a twig of a tree, and then you, and there was a bear da drakht, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji did Datan, and then he dug that Datan after he was finished in the ground. And if you go there now, there's a Gurdwara Sahib at that place, and that Datan then grew into a tree called Bear Sahib. Utte Gurdwara Sahib haga, you can go and do darshan there in Sultanpur. And after Guru Sahib Ji does Datan, and then there's Guru Nanak Dev Ji Sikh, his name is Bhai Bhagirath Ji, right? Then he gives Bhai Bhagirath Ji his clothes. He says, you know, kapdeyan da dhyan rakhina, I'm going to go and have Ishnan. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj utte fir Ishnan karan jande a. As soon as then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj puts his first foot in the Nadi, that his Sareer goes alop, that he disappears. Okay, and then in Itihas it says that Guru Sahib Ji disappeared for 3 days. 3 दिन फिर Guru Sahib Ji alop rahe, right? Okay, and sort of we know about the rest where people thought that Guru Nanak Dev Ji is drowned, or something happened. He's got eaten by some big fish or something. That they put actually nets in the Nadi to see that as well, and they sent search parties, and for 3 days they searched, but obviously they couldn't find Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Right now, first thing is, why do you think Guru Nanak Dev Ji would do that, and why would it take 3 days? Do you reckon? Anybody here like to kind of? But why is there a reason? Because I never, until I started doing the presentation, I was thinking, why would it take 3 days for Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? And why did he do that, going into the Nadi? Because it says in by Balaji's Janam Sakhi and various other sources like Guru Nanak Suraj Prakash Granth, right? So why was there, do you reckon, the need for Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to do that? Anybody? Maybe why 3 days? I'm going to have a sip of water and you get a chance to think. Hanji Veer ji.
Well, like you were saying, where saying that the mob master starts for a couple of hours, so when you take time, when you're going there, take time to get to the back, maybe, so that could be a part of it.
Okay, yeah, it could take that, in Earth time that's like 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so like different times. So in Earth time that's 3 days. Yeah, that could be one possibility. Anybody else? Hanji? No? Hanji, 3 days Akhand Path. Okay. 3 दिन Akhand Path. So Maharaj ने Akhand Path दी मर्यादा के नाल आरंभ करती कि 3 दिन मैनू याद करियो. And then that's what we do. 3 दिन ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਯਾਦ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਗੱਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਵੀ ਸਹੀ ਹੈ, ਵੈਸੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗਲਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਸਕਦੇ. ਹਾਂਜੀ. Anybody else? No? Okay. So I think ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਆ, that is also true. ਬਈ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ time, like the time on Earth obviously is not, so hanji, so that's it. Einstein's theory, don't ask me how I know that, that time in space goes, not that, now Viji told me that, so in hanji, in space.
Or when he took Dastagir, the sun, to take prasad.
Hanji.
इंसान कहता कि सानू कितने साल हो गए, सदियां ही हो गई, वो तो कहते सन तो छिन मात्र भी नहीं होया.
Yeah, so it's the other way around then.
Opposite भी है.
Okay, yeah. So there's like that account as well where Maharaj took Dastagir's, that's another Sakhi, Dastagir's son, and he wanted to see all these different planets, different Earths. Then Maharaj took Dastagir's son and showed him, took him to all these different planets as well. Okay, so well, I think sort of those reasons, and also I think it was like when Guru Nanak Dev Ji would come back, there has to be that element of shock, right? That people then start searching, okay, and then they would be sort of, Maharaj was actually preparing people for what Maharaj was going to do and tell people for when he came back. Right, Maharaj wants to prepare them, right, and it would take about 3 days when people have sort of have lost all hope, and also for people to, I believe, to also then realize that, hang on, a human being, it's not possible for a human being to do that like kind of go into a river and then they're there for 3 days and then they come back out. So to kind of for people to understand that Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj don't see him as like a normal human being, a banda like you and me, right?
It was a marketing strategy.
It was a marketing strategy on Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and his path. Yeah, probably true. It's all part of the plan, isn't it? It's all part of the plan. But anyway, Maharaj goes into Sachkhand, and so it's an actual jagah, it's actual place that is Sachkhand. So Maharaj goes there, and he is speaking to Vaheguru, right? He's speaking to Vaheguru. Now let me just just that question there. If Guruji is Parmeshwar himself, then who is he appearing in front of? Parbrahm Parmeshwar. Yeah, Parbrahm Parmeshwar. Yeah. So you understand that? So it's like you got Parbrahm Parmeshwar, is a different name, and then you got Guru Parmeshwar. But they're both Parmeshwar. They're both the same, right? Guru and Vaheguru, they're both the same. There's no difference. One is Guru Parmeshwar, and one is Parbrahm Parmeshwar, right? They're both the same. So then you're like, why is he talking, to another version of himself, right? But that's another question that, sort of obviously I've asked myself, but the answer that I've kind of found. But before I do that, anybody else like to kind of share their idea why that would be? That why would Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj be appearing into another version of himself as Parbrahm Parmeshwar and talking to him?
That's the game.
That's the game. Okay, that's true. That's the kid. Okay, that's very good. And then and that's it. And that's it. There's not like a deep kind of like a riddle that you're trying to solve. It's just Maharaj's kid, Guru Sahib's play. And the play is that Maharaj was trying to establish that rishta of Guru and Sikh. So Parbrahm Parmeshwar Ji is in the place of Guru, and Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Guru Parmeshwar, is standing there as a Sikh, right? Because when Guru Nanak Dev Ji was going to come back to this earth, this was the concept that he was going to introduce to the world, that Gur Prasad, that through the Guru, the liberation is through the Guru. And then obviously the question then would arise, then who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Guru then? If we need a Guru to be liberated, then who is Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Maharaj's Guru? Guru Nanak Dev Ji's Guru is Parbrahm Parmeshwar himself. So it's that kid, that play. So that was the reason that Maharaj did that. Okay, so, and then Parbrahm Parmeshwar said that you have been on Matlok for this time, but the work has not started yet. And then Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj replies, and he says that to begin it, we have to then first establish that relationship of Guru and Sikh. That there is no Guru on Matlok that I can accept as my Guru, that you are going to be my Guru, Parmeshwar Ji. So Vaheguru Ji then gives a few things to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj to bring back to this Matlok, this earth, okay, for the liberation of people, okay. ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੂੰ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਪਿਆਲਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਨਾਮ ਦਾ, so ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਨਾਮ, a ਪਿਆਲਾ of ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਨਾਮ, okay. So it is both ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਿਆ ਆ, it's an actual physical ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ that you drink. At the same time it is you get ਨਾਮ as well, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਉਹ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆ, ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਈ, everything came from ਸੱਚਖੰਡ. The whole ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ, the ਨਾਮ, ਬਾਣੀ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਆਇਆ. ਜੇ ਬਾਣੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਆਈ ਤੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਵੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਆਇਆ, ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਆਇਆ. ਸੋ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾਉਂਦੇ, ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੂੰ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਕਾਇਆ, ਉਹ ਪਿਆਲਾ ਨਾਮ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਪੀਤਾ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਪਿਆਲਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਦਾ, ਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨਾਮ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ, ਰਾਈਟ. ਨਾ ਤੇ ਦੂਸਰਾ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਪਰਮੇਸ਼ਰ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਮਹਾਮੰਤਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਗੁਰਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਤੱਕ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਮਹਾਮੰਤਰ, ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਕਾਲ ਪੁਰਖ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੂੰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਅੱਗੇ ਜਪ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬਈ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਮੰਤਰ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਜਪਣਾ ਆ। ਜਪ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਰਾ ਬਾਕੀ ਦਾ ਜਪ ਆਦ ਸੱਚ, ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸੱਚ, ਹੈ ਪੀ ਸੱਚ, ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਪੀ ਸੱਚ, ਇੱਥੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਦੋਂ ਉਚਾਰ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਕੰਪਲੀਟ ਕਰ ਦਿੱਤਾ। ਸੋ ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਪੀ ਸੱਚ ਤੱਕ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ। ਨਾਓ ਦ ਵਿਟਨੈਸ ਟੂ ਦੈਟ ਇਜ਼ ਭਾਈ ਬਾਲੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਸਾਖੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ, ਐਂਡ ਦੈਨ ਜਿੰਨੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਪੁਰਾਤਨ ਸੰਪਰਦਾਵਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਉਦਾਸੀ ਕਹਿ ਲਓ ਪੰਥ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਦਲ ਪੰਥ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ, ਹੋਰ ਟਕਸਾਲਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਆ, that they vouch for the same thing, ਵੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਆ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਇਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੋ ਮਹਾਮੰਤਰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਅਤੇ ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ। ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਸੋ ਦਰ ਤੇਰਾ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੋ ਘਰ ਕਿਹਾ। ਸੋ ਦੇਰ ਇਜ਼ ਲਾਈਕ 3 different ਸੋਦਰਸ ਇਨ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਵੁੱਡ ਰੀਡ। ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ 'ਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ ਸੋਦਰ, ਇੱਕ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਫਿਰ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਜਦੋਂ ਰਹਿਰਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ, and then there's one in Asarag, okay? The one in Japji Sahib is when Guru Sahib Ji answering the Siddh's questions, okay? The one in Rehra Sahib, the Sodar Tera Keha, that one Guru Sahib Ji recited in Sachkhand in front of Akal Purkh Vaheguru, Sodar Tera Keha so kar keha। And then ਜਿਹੜਾ ਰਾਗ ਆਸਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਉਂਦਾ ਆ, ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੇਬੇ ਨਾਨਕੀ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, when ਬੇਬੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਜੀ asked Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj that what's Sachkhand like, what's Vaheguru's house is like, and then Guru Sahib recited that, and all of those 3 sodars, they're different from one another, ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚ ਫਰਕ ਹੈਗੇ, they're not all the same, they're different, ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕੀਤਾ। ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੀਸਰੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਗਰੀਬੀ, ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਂਦੀ, ਗਰੀਬੀ ਭੇਸ of humbleness, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਉਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ। ਅਤੇ ਚੌਥਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਏ ਸੀਗੇ ਵਹੀਂ ਨਦੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ, ਤਾਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ was wearing this robe, this, ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਫਨੀ ਕਿਹਾ, and it was made of ਸਿਫਤ ਸਾਲਾ। ਇਹ ਵੀ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਤੋਂ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਆ, ਸਿਫਤ ਸਲਾਹ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਉੱਥੋਂ। ਸਿਫਤ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ when we praise Vaheguru, when we like individually when we praise Vaheguru, that means we're doing sifat of Vaheguru. But when as as Sat Sangat we remember Vaheguru, then we are saying we're doing Salah of Parmeshwar. So Guru Sahib Ji brought that Sangat aspect as well, and individual ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਣਾ ਆ। ਸੋ ਸਿਫਤ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਲਾ ਵੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ। ਸੋ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚੋਂ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਬੋਟ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ, ਬੋਟ ਨਾਮ, ਮਹਾਮੰਤਰ, ਮੂਲ ਮੰਤਰ, ਬਾਣੀ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦੀ, ਅਤੇ ਗਰੀਬੀ ਵੇਸ਼ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਨਿਮਰਤਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ, ਅਤੇ ਸਿਫਤ ਅਤੇ ਸਾਲਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਏ। ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਿਰ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਫਿਰ ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਉਹ ਵੰਡੀ ਸੀਗੀ, ਸਿੱਖਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਉਹ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਸੀਗੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ। And then obviously there is different ਖੰਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਗਿਣੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ, ਧਰਮ ਖੰਡ, ਗਿਆਨ ਖੰਡ, ਸਰਮ ਖੰਡ, ਕਰਮ ਖੰਡ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਪਜੀ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਦਾ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ, ਉਹ 'ਚ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ, ਹੈ ਨਾ। ਫਿਰ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ, ਰਾਈਟ। ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਵਸੈ ਨਿਰੰਕਾਰ, ਕਰ ਕਰ ਵੇਖੈ ਨਦਰ ਨਿਹਾਲ। ਹਾਂ, so we've now up to this point we talked about the actual physical Sachkhand. ਦੂਸਰਾ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਕੀ ਆ that we mentioned before is the level of your consciousness when you get to, and how can we achieve that Sachkhand, experience Sachkhand whilst living on this earth as well. And the way we do that is we do that in Sangat. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ that is Sachkhand as well. ਜਦੋਂ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ 'ਚ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਦੇ ਹਾਂ, when we do ਸਿਮਰਨ in ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ, ਉਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੈਕੁੰਠ 'ਚ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ। Okay, so this is Bhai Gurdas ji that talks about what Sachkhand is. Okay, say Aad Purkh Ades hai, Satguru Sach now Sadvaya. Salutation to that primal Lord who is known by the true name of Satgur. So Aad Purkh Ades hai, Satguru Sach now Sadvaya. Char Varn Gur Sikh Kar Gurmukh Sacha Panth Chalaya. Okay, so that's another question. Be Guru Sahib, there's so much you can take from it. Sacha Panth Chalaya. Saad Sangat Mil Gamde Sadgur Sabad Anahad Vaya Gur Sakhi Updesh Kar Aap Tara Sansar Taraya. So Saad Sangat Mil Gamde Satgur Sabad Anahad Vaya Gur Sakhi Updesh Kar Aap Tare Sansar Taraya. Then say Pan Supari Kath Mil Chune Rang Surang Chadaya. So what that is saying is that as a betel leaf mixing, okay, I don't know what that, but it's basically like the chuna hunda na, this thing where it then takes on its color. So when we go into Saj Sangat ji, then all our demerits, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੂੜ ਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਚੜਿਆ ਆ ਉਹ ਲੱਥ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਨਾਮ ਦਾ ਰੰਗ ਸਾਡੇ ਚੜ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ. ਸੋ ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਜੁਗਤ ਗੁਰਮਤ ਮਿਲ ਗੁਰ ਪੂਰਾ ਪਾਇਆ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ Sachkhand Vasaya. So the other place, the place on this earth, the physical place, it's actually in Sachkhand, which is Sadh Sangat ki. ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੰਗਤ 'ਚ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਕੀਰਤਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਆ, that's also Sachkhand. ਉਹ ਵੀ ਫਿਰ Sachkhand ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ. So there is that Sachkhand as well. ਅੱਗੇ ਫਿਰ there's another ਪੰਕਤੀ from ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ. ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਭਾਈ ਗੁਰਦਾਸ ਜੀ ਇਹੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਖਦੇ परमात्म देखा शब्द सुरत लिव लीन होए अंतरगत लेखा चरण कवल दी वासना होए चंदन भेखा चरणोदकार मकरंद रस विस्माद विसेखा गुरमत नहचल चित्तकार विच रूप ना रेखा चरण कमल की दी वासना होए चंदन पेखा. So the last two lines, गुरमत नहचल चित्तकार विच रूप ना रेखा साध संगत सचखंड जाए होए अलख अलेखा. So the other place is Sachkhand, is Sadh Sangat. And then we will talk about the experience of Sachkhand. The experience, you can be in Sachkhand whilst you're still alive. You have that experience. And that experience comes through Sadh Sangat, through singing praises of Vaheguru, that your conscious is elevated to that point where there is no difference between you and Akal Purkh. Fir koi fark nahi rehta. And then you can experience that through Sadh Sangat, through Simran, and through doing Kirtan together, right? So ਇਹ ਵੱਖੋ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਇੱਕ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਦਾ actual ਜਗ੍ਹਾ place, ਇੱਕ ਸੱਚਖੰਡ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਸਾਰ ਉੱਤੇ, the one Sachkhand that is Sadh Sangat, and the other Sachkhand is where you elevate your consciousness to that level, so you experience all that. So the whole of that package is Sachkhand. ठीक है जी. So I'm going to stop there. Any questions on anything so far that we have discussed? Let's see what we're doing for. Hanji. Hanji.
So you're saying like it's not just you have to go there to get to Sachkhand, you can do it while you're here in Kirtan.
Yeah.
In Simran.
Yeah, so
with Sangat.
With Sangat, yeah, with Sadh Sangat. You can experience it, here on this earth, when you're in Sadh Sangat. And then on your own, when you elevate your consciousness to that level, then you can experience it as well. But then, obviously, when our time's up here, when we actually leave a physical sareer, then we go into that actual Sachkhand. Where we're there with the Akal Purkh, the leen ho jande ha. So that's like the process of it. Yeah, because there has to be that, otherwise, like I said, I've always struggled with what happens to us. That when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, when Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj left this earth, where did they go? How can I find them in my consciousness? It's like there has to be something else, otherwise maybe I was like, I'm missing something. How is that possible? है ना. So yeah, so that is the, so you know, there's a big emphasis on Sadh Sangat. Just like that Mai as well. I might as well, if there's no questions, I might as well tell you the other, sorry, Hanji.
I'm going to go back to one of your previous points there about, you know, Jamrud coming and taking these wrong people
Hanji.
to Tamra. And I'm a little worried because we've heard about people being charged by the police and put in jail for years, which means that there's some problem with God's database system or the database system where they come to the wrong people. What do you have to say for that? Wrong postal code, yeah. How does that happen?
Hanji, Pullananda Saga, Pulgar Kartar.
That's the problem.
जब दूध भी भूल जाते ना ना इट्स
दूध ज़्यादा भूल रहे हैं
हाँ जी
इन बार कितना भूल जाना
What story देखे I've heard so many stories about wrong people being taken and brought back. They're like, okay, one time is fine, but so many, why?
Yeah, I think then you have to start looking into it seriously. That why does that happen, you know, and why is it happening in the first place? Obviously,
I think it might be to do with how we have such common names, right? Just Singh. अरे ना होए गलती ना मेनू ले जाना
हाँ जी नवे बंदे रखे ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਜਮਦੂਤ ਲੱਗੇ ਆ ਜੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਈ ਹਾਲੇ ਕਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਈਆਂ ਦੀ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਚੱਲਦੀ ਹੈ ਹਾਲੇ
ਐਂਟੀਵਾਇਰਸ
ਕੋਈ ਵਾਇਰਸ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਹਾਂਜੀ yeah names are
the names that we have some link
ਹਾਂਜੀ they have
does my name have a link to something?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
why is it being referred to that Sukhwinder Singh here didn't pass away, they took away the wrong Sukhwinder Singh. So our representation of our name exists
whilst
our actual
whilst we here ਜਿੰਨਾ ਚਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ
No, what I meant is like, the concept of the three elements. The name, does it matter really there too? Like, I mean, there should be another representation besides my name. Like
And with
another like identity, you mean?
yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So there will be thousands of Ranjit Singhs here.
Yeah.
Are we all same Ranjit Singh there?
Yeah.
Like, if I would be referred, let's say I'm in Nanak or somewhere.
Right. ਨਾ ਪਾਸ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਾਸ ਦੇ ਦਰਸ਼ਨ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘੱਟ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਨਰਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ
What I'm saying is, like, would they refer to me as Ranjit Singh?
like instead of just a name like an ID number or something, right? Like
ਯਾ ਨਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਮਾਰ ਨਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਭਾਈ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ this other
and if somebody has a nickname
then that obviously I'm joking about that that bit I don't know ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਨਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਵਾਜ਼ਾਂ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਆ I don't know but I think if the other point that I'm thinking as well that you know it's a valid question that when you know the Jamdus getting the instruction to go and you know oh bande nu janani nu chuk liao hana they're like it's like this then do they say oh flani na da banda or there's another kind of you know identification or you know they or do they just know where to go like there's none of the names or anything like that hana so there's that as well hanji dasso ji
Up on the case on the names everything is right? The Guru Granth Sahib is not made for like one sole purpose. It's made for everything and it's perfectly planned for everything. So when your name doesn't put out like when it comes out in the Guru Granth Sahib ji, why do you the hukam? So like I feel like your name has more importance than you think. And that the thought and that came into your parents was from Waheguru.
okay when they
so your name does have some importance. I'm not sure if it's 100% importance, but it still has some importance.
It's very valid point. Thank you for that, Vijay. That's very good. Hanji.
I have a couple questions, but we don't have that much time, so maybe I'll come after.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll just say this one. It relates to kind of the physical.
Yeah.
So I just have, how can we know, like, if we're experiencing the physically or just consciously? Because we could talk about our dreams, right? Our dreams are based on most of our day-to-day experiences, right? And in that, sometimes our dreams feel like reality, right? Like you get those dreams where it feels almost as real as it's actually happening, but when you wake up, you know it wasn't really true.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the story of the Roots or even the Big Biggies, right?
Yeah.
How can they know that if it's actually just really happening to them or if it's just in their subconscious? Or,
Yeah, I think, and obviously, that's a. I don't know, did everybody hear that? What Vijay said? No. So, Vijay, you want to repeat all that on mic? I don't.
You heard it, right? You could just restate it.
To be honest, I wasn't paying attention. Only joking. I know what you're saying. चलो ये तो क्या पाने दें मेरा मैं कर मेरा phone टाइप but sorry if I brought that then nobody's saying I'm waiting for it.
I don't want to say all of it, so
हाँ जी नहीं ठीक है.
it's just how do we know if we're experiencing it physically, like regarding the Jamdu story or the BBD, or if it's just our subconscious or just subconsciously, like you know how we have dreams, like if sometimes feels like it's reality, but it's actually just our consciousness, something like that. So I'm just asking, like, how do we?
हाँ जी.
What is it? So we don't really know, I guess.
ठीक है जी. I'm going to use this mic now. So oh my God, that looks really cute. All right. जिदा mic ने बच्चा जमया हुंदा. ਵਧਾਈਆਂ, it's a boy. Okay. Right. I fixed it, so you don't have to charge me for that. I think I fixed it. So okay. So how do we know? Yeah, that's true. How do we know that? Everybody understood the question, Anna. So, the goal of verifying it, so that like in that my mum's Massey's situation where they actually verified it. So when they checked that story, and so when it was verified, that's how we know that actually happened. Yeah, so it could be like you're saying, so how do we know certain cases? But we know in that case it's true because the story checks out. And in Apne Bhai Sadhu Singh's case as well, we know the story checks out because obviously they found out be ohi na da banda they passed away. So that's how I guess. But each situation is probably different. That sometimes people may kind of think that they've had that experience, but may not have. But those are the ones that sort of I've shared. They those are the two. They verified those by those people. Hanji.
Just a comment. I'm just saying one way is names. I think there's so many different factors. Maybe it's intentional. Maybe it is not intentional on the Jambu's part, but intentional in the whole I just say the whole part is intentional. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
So for us to just say it's this thing, who knows, right? So I think in that case, I think that's where you just kind of gotta have a little bit of
faith,
awareness. Maybe, hey, you know what? It could be intentional because the way you're I feel like by hearing it from you, it felt like it's intentional.
It is, yeah.
So
yeah.
It seems odd, maybe it's true. What if there's something else, right? So it's kind of hard to just pinpoint.
Yeah.
Who are we to know? But there could be many different.
No, it's true, and I
that's how I think.
I agree with your point, Virji, is that it is very much intentional rather than a mistake. Sort of on they obviously ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਮਦੂਤ are they following orders, right? है ना? ਹੁਣ देख लो, like when it's like living this life and being on this journey, right? You try and grab onto anything that you can that affirms your faith a little bit more. That you're like, oh, I'm not just doing this, you know, kind of, or is it all actually true? Is it all of that, you know, actually, you know, is it actually all true or not? You know, this is what Gurbani says, this is what people say. Then, you know, what is it? Has someone actually has experienced it? And I personally think it is intentional because of that reason. What it does is, it kind of gives us that bit, you know, more, you know, faith. But yeah, those things, you know, do exist. And like in my mum's Masi's case, where that, you know, whatever actions that you do, you're gonna have to, you know, suffer the consequences. Or like, you know, how she hurt that dog, and then, you know, she suffered that pain back, and then kind of like, you know, it's different for me to just, for someone to say, oh yeah, you'll have to suffer your actions, but then for someone to actually come back and say, actually, I did suffer for those actions, and that actually happened, right? And then it makes it a lot more real to you. And then you start thinking about things, you know, with a bit more focus then behind it.
Because the way you mentioned, like with your mom's Masi,
yeah,
that when you said like she hurt that dog, and then for her to have the dog hurt her,
yeah,
you know, that sounds like, you know, like that was meant to happen, like that was intentional.
yeah, yeah.
It was like there was a purpose behind.
Purpose, yeah.
Yeah, there's a purpose behind. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't say that for everything. Maybe some things there might not be no purpose, right? But
yeah, sometimes it might be just Hanji. Okay, ji. So Hanji Virji, that's it. Not going. Hanji.
No, I actually completely agree when you say it's intentional. I want to bring something else. You say that the Jamdut Andine to come grab you, but I've also heard it's either Singhs and Bhai that are gonna come grab you,
yeah, or
Jamdut. And I remember, like when I was a kid, a good friend of mine, we used to learn tabla together, and unfortunately he passed away. Maybe some people remember this. There was a wedding happening in Vancouver. The truck driver, working late hours, didn't see the wedding party on the road, and unfortunately 6 people passed away. One of them was my good friend. And my mom tells me the story is that the mother the night before had a dream where good Sikhs were coming and taking her son away, but giving her another baby. And she was saying that this isn't mine. I want my son back.
Yeah.
And they said, no, he's going. And the next day, and she was pregnant at that time. And the next day, you know, he passed away that evening. And she got another son.
Yeah, yeah. There is that, you know, we do make contact with that world, and there's people who make that contact. And it is intentional, and it's for us to kind of take something, you know, away from it. एक ते साडा विश्वास जिहड़ा मतलब कि मेरा ते विश्वास, you know, वधिया like भी हाँ जिस तरह भी हर एक चीज़ जिहड़ी ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ ਤੇ ਆ ਬਈ ਜੇ ਆਹ ਬੀਜੇ ਸੋਲਣੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ we'll have to, you know, reap what we sow, and that it is actually is true. ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਭਗਤੀ ਕਰੀਏ, ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ, you know, ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀਏ. And just recently, there's Mahakal Singh, Nihang Singh passed away, Baba Vajir Singh ji, in India, and you know, he had a chest pain, and then he said to the family, them in hospital, you know, well, the family said to him, hospital, and as they were taking him, said, "Menu ithe na pehla tusi Guru Ghar le jao." And they got to the Guru Ghar, and then he said, he goes, "Main challiya hun." He goes, "Singh aage lein, main challiya." They're like, "Nahi, you know, what you saying? Let's go, take you to the hospital." He goes, "Nahi, hun jithe marji le jao, hun main challiya, I'm going. Singh aage lein." And then he passed away. And this is about 3 weeks ago. And you know, we knew Baba Vajir Singh, you know, quite close. And so, you know, things like, you know, like this, you know, when you hear it, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਚ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵਰਗੇ ਗੁਰਸਿੱਖ ਬਣੀਏ, ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ, ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਸਿੰਘ ਲੈਣ ਹੋਣ, you know, ਸਾਡਾ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਾ ਹੋਵੇ ਵੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਘੋੜੇ ਦੇ ਕੰਨਾਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੈਣ ਆ ਜਾਣ, ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਠੀਕ ਨਾ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਵੀ, you know, ਸਿੰਘ ਐਕਚੁਅਲ ਘੋੜਿਆਂ ਵਾਲੇ ਲੈਣ ਹੋਣ, ਨਾ ਐਕਚੁਅਲ ਘੋੜਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਕੰਨ ਵਾਲੇ, you know what I mean. ਸੋ ਹਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੁਛ ਨਾ ਕੁਛ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਸਿੱਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਹੁੰਦਾ, ਮਿਲਦਾ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਕਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਗਲਤੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦਾ, ਕਦੀ ਕੁਛ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਜੋ ਕਰਦਾ ਸਹੀ ਕਰਦਾ, ਹਮੇਸ਼ਾ ਜੋ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ। ਸੋ ਹਾਂਜੀ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ। ਹਾਂਜੀ ਵੀਰ ਜੀ।
ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਕਰਤੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਤਾ ਜਾਣੇ ਕਿਆ ਜਾਣੇ ਗੁਰਪੁਰਾ
ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਸੋ ਰੈਦਰ ਦੈਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਆਫ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਜੰਮ ਤੇ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਗਿਆ
ਹਾਂ
ਸੋ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਾਮ ਬਾਣੀ ਤੇ ਰਹੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਈਜ਼ੀਲੀ ਜੁੜ ਸਕਾਂਗੇ ਤਾਂ ਜੰਮ ਵੱਲ ਕਰਮ ਕਾਂਡਾਂ 'ਚ ਪੈ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਤੇ ਜੰਮ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਕਿ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਨੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਸਿਰਫ ਨਾਮ ਬਾਣੀ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਰੈਦਰ ਦੈਨ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੇਸਟ ਕਰੀਏ ਆਪਣਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਿ ਕੌਣ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਹੋਵੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਹੋਵੇ ਤੇ ਰੈਦਰ ਦੈਨ ਦੈਟ ਕਿ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੇ ਨਾਮ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜੀ ਆ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਹਾਂਜੀ
ਫਰੂਟਫੁਲ ਹੋਇਆ
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ ਜੀ so that's all we have time for unfortunately so if I've said anything to offend anybody like I've said before I don't really care so you know just put in a complaint to the organisers don't call him again so thank you very much ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ